Which celebrity did you have the hots for when you were young? Once when my mother saw Robin Williams, she approached him and asked if she could take a brief picture with him. He made a point to stick around and told his staff I think that woman wanted a photo and made sure she got it. She didn't realize he was there in the middle or about to do something with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, so she waited until they were finished around 20 to 30 minutes later. Mom was ecstatic. He was such a sweet, modest guy. Elisha Cuthbert made quite an impression on me and my teenage friends back in the days. And now that I searched it, all I know her from she made in a span of a year 2004, 2005 The Girl Next Door, House of Wax and Weezer's music video for Perfect Situation. P.S. I found out she was in 79 episodes of 24 from 2001 to 2010, so it was a big deal as well, but I've never really watched the series. Well, I saw this 70s movie called The Jackson County Jail starring Tommy Lee Jones and Yvette something or other, and I absolutely became enamored with her during that one terrible scene before they both broke out. You know, I was around 11 years old and wondered what that horrible man was doing to her, but nonetheless found myself fascinated with her and the way she handled herself. Oh geez, how much time you got? First Jane Seymour from BSG, Aaron Gray from Buck Rogers, Maureen Flanagan from Out of This World, Nicole Eggert from Charles in Charge, Alyssa Milano from Who's the Boss, Leela and the Second Romana from Tom Baker's Doctor Who. Colin Baker's first assistant on his Doctor gets me to around 13 years old or so. Elizabeth Shue Adventures in Babysitting when I was in 6th grade. That night I was not able to sleep and I couldn't stop thinking about her. That very night I also realized what it meant to fall in love. For months I thought of her every time I went to bed. Even today I can close my eyes and picture that first night so clearly. I've only had pleasant interactions with Guy Fieri so far. Presented as a guest for us and shot a lot of pictures. However, he always has a second responder group prepared to provide food and care for all the first responders whenever there is a wildfire or other upsetting event happening in this area. Daniel Radcliffe apologized sincerely to me after I accidentally spilled some of his dessert on him while serving him at an event. He probably stumbled over the dessert after noticing that I was serving Daniel Radcliffe. Was really kind and inquired as to my well-being. I'd his name, but that one kid that played Peter Pan used to be so jealous of Wendy. I related heavily to Tinker Bell. I think I've seen the movie like 10 times because of him. Lamau. Update: it was Jeremy Sumpter from 2003 Peter Pan. I watched a lot of Star Trek DS9 as a young teenager and my very first crush ever was on Andrew Robinson. He played Elam Garrick and I couldn't get enough of his crystal blue eyes and mysterious backstory. Jimmy Carter dated my grandmother. I've read a few of his letters, but I'm not sure how physical things ended up. I'm posting this simply because I can't think of any better justification for doing so. Brendan Fraser in George of the Jungle. I didn't understand why I liked the scenes where he was shirtless in the jungle better than the scenes where he's fully clothed, but I kept rewinding. John Travolta was my first crush at the tender age of 6 after I saw him in Boy in the Plastic Bubble. I was disappointed later in life when he turned out to be a total weirdo. Bon Jovi. I was like 10 in 1992 and my dad got me a tape and I listened to it over and over and developed a huge crush on him. I feel like I was a little late to the game. Edward Furlong. We had Terminator 2 on VHS and I watched it so many times. When I watched it again as a much older adult, he looks like a fetus Lowell. Also Jonathan Brandis. I was weird and liked All the Way Too Old for Me hunky guys Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kevin Sorbo as Hercules, William Shatner as Oz Kirk. Daddy issues I guess Lowell, specifically Leonardo DiCaprio from Romeo Juliet, Brendan Fraser from the Mummy franchise, and Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance once I was a teenager. Lamau. Lindsay Wagner Bionic Woman, Linda Carter Wonder Woman, Catherine Bach Daisy Duke from Dukes of Hazzard. All beautiful, powerful and intelligent women. Sarah Silverman. Her stand-up was so raunchy and witty, teenage me would be laughing like hell, with a raging erection he didn't quite yet understand. Thumbs up. Nobody says Johnny Depp, cause it's not fashionable. But you all best believing ladies of a certain era were getting moist and dudes were getting wood. Britney Spears. Those Instagram videos and pics she's been putting out would be a dream come true to 13-14-year-old me, but now they're just depressing. Melissa Joan Hart. Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Summer Sanders, Olympic gold medalist and hosted Figure It Out on Nickelodeon back in the late 90s. Justin Bieber. Like I would Joe to having sex with him. I looked at him now and honestly he looks like he would kidnap his younger self in a white van. Hannibal Buress hooks up with a female I know every time he visits Milwaukee. They met on Bumble, and she described him as a really kind guy. River Phoenix. I became a Vega for 12 years and eschewed all leather clothing for him. I was very sad and confused about the way he died. Harrison Ford. Dude is just rugged. I would still want to chill with him, but more like I want to have dinner and a glass of wine with him. Hayden Panettiere. I'm 5 feet 1 inch and her husband is a little Ukrainian god, so I think it's safe to say I never had a chance. Lamau. Brad Renfro. I was contemplating how I could move to Knoxville, Tennessee from 2 time zones away and accidentally run into him. I was 10. I've always been impartial to someone who I think single-handedly carried the adult movie industry into the 21st century. Your mom. The members from the band Dream Street: Kirsten Dunst, Hilary Duff, Britney Spears, Tom Felton, Lindsay Lohan, Aaron Carter. Raffle. 1990s Jorge Ramos. I had to watch the news in Spanish for my language class, and I specifically looked forward to watching him. Beyoncé. That chick from Fantastic Four. That chick from Scooby-Doo and was Daphne. Just anyone with nice legs got me going. Michelle Pfeiffer and Jessica Rabbit. They both made me feel kinda funny, like when we used to climb the rope in gym class. Phoebe Cates and Carrie Fisher. I was just starting puberty in 82-83. These two are my first celeb crushes. Domini. Eva Mendes, Rachel Lee Cook, Amy Jo Johnson, Jessica Alba, Britney Spears pre-crazy, Jessica Simpson, Ricky Schroeder, Kurt Cameron, Judd Nelson, Scott Baio, Matthew Broderick, Michael J. Fox, Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp. Hilary Duff. I thought my life was over when Frankie Muniz got to kiss her at the end of Agent Cody Banks. Shocked face. Speedy. John Travolta and the Grease and Saturday Night Fever era. Later on, Adam Ant and John Taylor Duran Duran. Christian Slater Heathers. Swoon. That I think about it, this actually explains a lot. TBH, face with monocle, grimacing face, embarrassed smiley face. Elwas, Carrie. Would watch him all the time in Robin Hood Men in Tights and The Princess Bride. So enamored. My first celebrity crush was Olivia Wilde, who I still like. I think I probably first saw her in House. It might be the most generic answer for a guy whose formative years were the 90s, but Pamela Anderson. I was born in 96 for context. My first ever crush was Aaron Carter, pensive face. Second was Jesse McCartney, crossed fingers. Aaron Carter. Just hated, as an adult, to learn how he was abused by the industry his parents. Christina Applegate and Alyssa Milano. Drop Dead Gorgeous. Catherine Zeta-Jones, 2. Wowie. John Schneider aka Bo Duke. 8-year-old me kissed him on the TV screen and got static zapped too. Early to mid 1970s it was Lynda Carter. In the late 1970s early 1980s it was Lonnie Anderson. I'm a bit embarrassed to admit this, but Mark Summers. The host of Nickelodeon's Double Dare. Cindy Crawford. Then I met her when I was 13. The hots have not gone away 30 years later. Jessica Savage. She was my first crush and I regularly tuned in for the NBC Nightly News. Jason the Red Ranger. And Tommy, Obvi. I watched Power Rangers for all the wrong reasons. Marina Sirtis, as I'm sure a lot of people who watch Star Trek The Next Generation did. As a fellow lover of Ryan Reynolds, he looked like crap when he first started out acting. My first was a singer no one here will know, named Jodie Summers. Next was Winona Ryder. My first age-appropriate celebrity crush was Danielle Harris from the Halloween series. Who's that blonde white girl? That one. Married an Asian woman in the end. Lol. Bill Bixby or Lynda Carter. I was really into those superhero shows when I was little. Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Devon Sawa. Had Tiger Beat posters of them and everything. Feeling old here, but Nicole Kidman in Dead Calm was absolutely mesmerizing to me. Axl Rose. I thought she was so fucking hot. Information traveled slower back then. Heather Graham. Felicity Shagwell really did it. Even dug her in Lost in Space too. Crispin Glover. There was something pathetically attractive about George McFly. Kelly Martin from Life Goes On. I was 10 and she was 14 and I was smitten. Patrick Swayze. Dirty Dancing and Patrick's sexy body, damn he was so hot. I used to have a crush on Christina Applegate. I still do, but I used to too. China and Britney Spears as a kid. Trish Stratus and Molly Holly as a teen. The Brat Pack. Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, Andrew McCartney, Tom Cruise, RDJ. The guy who played the OG Blues Clues guy, can't remember the exact name. Lindsay Lohan, Christina Ricci. Connor Oberst, Davey Havok, Johnny Depp. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's still hot. I still got the hots for her. Bob Ross of course. Paint me like one of your French happy clouds. Sophia Bush, Kristen Krug, Liv Tyler, they also aged like fine wine. My first crush was Beth from The Walking Dead, I forget her name now. Emma Watson. I was 13 when I watched HP The Prisoner of Azkaban. Elijah Wood, romantic face. Younger me saw him in LDR and instantly fell in love. Anna Kournikova. Rachel Leacock. Julia Stiles. Kirsten Dunst. Elizabeth Shue. Jennifer Connelly. Kim Cattrall. Phoebe Cates. Ewan McGregor. Not sexually attracted, just set some standards. I don't know his name, but that dude named Jack from Kickin' It, no contest. Raul Julia as Gomez. He is still my dream husband. Orlando Bloom as Will Turner. Do I really need to say more? Terry Hatcher and Lois Clark. Peter Wilson in La Femme Nikita. Catherine Daisy Duke-Bach and Linda Wonder Woman Carter. I was obsessed with Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. Can't remember her real name. Joe Penguin Boy Meets World. Selena Gomez. She's still my celebrity crush to this day. I'll tell you their characters: Dana Scully in 7 of 9. Halle Berry. SCH Wayne, she can still get it if she wants. Jordan Knight from New Kids on the Block, I still do. Josh Peck and Drake Bell, also Dylan and Cole Sprouse. Eva Mendes, Natalie Portman and Lucy Liu. Still do Lowell. Phoebe Friends and Willow, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Danica McKellar. Had serious hots for Winnie Cooper. Erin Moran. Joni from Happy Days. I know I'm old. Corey Feldman when License to Drive dropped on VHS. Ellen Page. My friends tease me for it all the time. When I was a child I had a huge crush on Josh Beck.